Alright, so this is going to be an interesting deck. This is a Freljord Shadow Isles, which is a fairly powerful combination, and his two champions are Hecarim and Thresh. So, I'm not sure exactly... Man, that's kind of weird. Hecarim and Thresh. Okay, sure. So we have an opener here that's a little awkward, but welcome to this deck. All the opening hands are terrible with this deck. This is probably one of the weaker decks that I've showed off, but it is also the most fun. Scaled Snapper makes the hand quite a bit better. Now we've got three proactive plays: Fiora, Shadow Assassin, and Snapper. Of course, that will all require basically the double float. So Fiora will take down that Soul Shepherd. I think that's pretty important. So he takes an open attack here. Wow. Okay. Sure. So I want to use Key Guardian into Fiora when we're going for the Soul Shepherd. So at this point in time, I want to play something proactive and developmental. I think a 5-2 Snapper is going to be just that, basically. That'll be great. I'll probably start playing like Shark Chariots, and we'll be able to get a lot of value out of stopping that. There's the Undying, which is not a great card here. Shouldn't really be doing too much to me, and I'm perfectly happy floating the spell mana. We just want a Key Guardian Fiora when we're looking at killing the Soul Shepherd. So there's the Butcher on the Undying. It's going to be really, really slow to build up power, but the most important thing to understand about this situation is that I'm probably the aggressor. His deck is super, super, super slow, but will probably run me over eventually, which means I'm going to need to pretty much combo out and try to take a win. Okay, so we're going to use Key Guardian Fiora. That's 5 mana out of our 7 total. And Greenglade Caretaker is, I think, our last play, floating 1 point of mana. We can go ahead and open with this, I think. Or we can take a burst pass with Key Guardian and try to play a bit more reactively. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's Key Guardian our Fiora and take a pass. So I call this a burst pass because this is not something you can do in Artifact, but it is something you can do in this game, which is where if you take a card that's at burst speed, I actually don't want to play for tempo here. I want to play my cards reactively. My pass isn't a pass that he can pass back to there. My pass is basically just wanting to see what he plays before developing my own play. For example, it's possible, you know, he would have had a Black Spear, but his play on the first play there might have used more mana so that he couldn't Black Spear this turn or something like that, right? And that would have changed quite a bit. So now we've got Fiora, and that's pretty important. The barrier coming on the board will hit the Greenglade Caretaker, super important. Of course, when she says when an ally gets barrier, that means on board, because Key Guardian even used before that, before she was on board. You can see she got the point after Fiora got on board. So we can go ahead and take this attack. This is a pretty powerful attack, as well as sticking the Scaled Snapper in there as well. I see no problem doing that. Of course, Undying can't block, so just no good block on his side. He might have to take a block with like Islander or something. At 4 mana, obviously, you know, there are potential threats. Let's see what he's got. Mark of the Isles if he... No, probably not. Okay, he'll take a Glimpse Beyond. That's a pretty great play. It basically invalidates Fiora's kill. She, like, her barrier is going to go away anyway, and he just gets the free card draw on top of it. So yeah, Glimpse Beyond is a great card to play out there. I don't think we could have really saved mana for Deny, honestly. Yeah, especially because Greenglade Caretaker wouldn't have even represented Deny mana. So there's not a lot I think we could have done about that. But that's definitely one thing to keep in mind. Okay, we've got our other Snapper. We are going to want to make sure we're denying high impact spells on his part. There's a big attack, and I think I'm totally fine with a swing like that. It seems pretty abusable. There's a few things to think about here. And I don't think my Fiora is going to really be threatening too much. She's at 0 kills so far. I really want to keep her more healthy, I think that's important. I don't really have great recourse if something happens with the Refuge. I guess I can always take a single strike. I think I should take the Refuge here, actually. Let's play it like this. If he does the same Glimpse Beyond thing again, maybe I can use like single combat at least to make use out of my barrier. I don't know. It's too vulnerable to just let that hit me, and because I've got the Greenglade Caretaker on board, I really do want that to go off as well. So he's put himself in a bit of a vulnerable position here, because of course he doesn't have a developed board, so we'll have to play a unit here. We really want our Fiora to try to win us the game here, because he's at 20 Nexus health, and we are on a time clock, right? So it's super important. One thing I'll note about this situation is we're leaving ourselves open to the Judgment top deck out. You can see we're banking 2 mana. There's the Avalanche. Big power play. We obviously don't have the mana for deny, so that avalanche is basically going to mess us up. I think I'm fine with that. I don't think we can like go too far out of our way to play around that. I mean, we couldn't have really not taken the barrier there. And it's not, it's a good avalanche, but it's not like devastating value. Your goal as a player against Freljord deck is to just like reduce the maximum avalanche they can reasonably get. And this is like, it's a good avalanche. It narrows our win condition further because it means the caretaker will, you know, probably just have to let Fiora try to take a win. But what I was saying about the Judgment top deck is we've got 6 mana going in to here, so if we were to find Judgment, that would be a powerful spot there. An ally gets Barrier. Does that actually count herself? You know what, I just realized I'm not 100% sure if this counts herself. Let me go ahead and try the Key Guardian on Greenglade Caretaker Lion, and we'll see. So Kinko Wayfinder, if it triggers, we'll pull the Mentor because there's only 1 Caretaker left in my deck, and I'm fine with that. I really don't mind Mentor in this deck. I think usually in the situations where your Wayfinder is triggering at all, you're pretty happy because it means you have at least 1 Caretaker. So even though Mentor looks a little weird, and I know I've talked about this too, Mentor looks a little bit weird in the spot, doesn't it? But it usually doesn't really hold anything back. And look, actually in this case, it's giving me a free unit because otherwise my Wayfinder would have just pulled Caretaker without a 1/1 on top of that. So Mentor is a fantastic one-of for this deck. Really, really, truly phenomenal. Okay, he's going to go ahead and end the round here. That kind of long delay might telegraph that he's sitting on, you know, another avalanche or something like that. I think I'm pretty ready to just like take an aggressive attack here. Usually, if they have a second avalanche, I think I've probably lost anyway. I mean, I could just play deeper. I lose to second avalanche. I don't think I can afford in this hand state to play around second avalanche, but honestly, that might have been just kind of like underrepresenting my position. It's very possible that with deny and with just like ownership of the board, the second avalanche is actually totally safe to play around. So it's possible that was just pointless. The barrier on the Caretaker does actually buff both Caretakers. Wow, look at that. That's pretty insane. So our next attack is going to be pretty big. Keep in mind, in this game, we are attacking on evens. So it's turn 7, he's attacking. So we're looking to try to close the game out on turn 8. A really important thing, especially as the aggressor in any matchup, is to be aware of what your clock is, what your timing is. And this deny is pretty much going to be our big win condition here, okay? So we're going to make sure we keep deny up at this point, for sure. He's got a decent swing here. Honestly, it's not amazing. Let's go ahead and draw with Shadow Assassin and see what happens. Scaled Snapper. Not really a great draw in this spot. Really looking for like combo pieces, barriers, Stand United are all like solid options. So this is Ephemeral from Islander, which means it's just gonna die there. I don't get a lot of value from blocking that in that position. I'm fine just leaving it up. Mentor basically just chumping this I think is good too. I don't really want Mentor doing anything crazy. So this looks good to me. I do want to free up my board slots basically. I don't actually want to have a super full board. We could have also blocked with Kinko, but in this matchup my life isn't really an important resource, right? I don't really care about protecting 2 of my health right now. I mean, if we're gonna lose, we're gonna lose to basically him outlasting us rather than him having more health than us, right? I guess it probably sounds like those are the same thing, but they're not. Him outlasting us just means us not being able to kill him in time, because we're the ones on a clock here. We're the ones that are probably more time pressured. Now, that's my interpretation of the situation. Could actually be wrong. So obviously deny is not necessarily terrible here. There can be a line for a single combat as well. I think it's too important to keep the deny meta open. So I think I'm pretty happy to take a single combat and effectively stop this draw. This is a very powerful draw at this point in time. The single combat is a great way of, you know, killing. I'm basically paying 2 life on my Kinko Wayfinder to kill the Glimpse Beyond. I'm like, it's like a 2 deny, 2 health, make sure he doesn't get that draw too, right? Which is pretty powerful. His unit's going to die either way. And as you can see, at 2 mana here, I don't think he has anything we need to be holding deny for. That being said, this mana is going to go into deny mana anyway, so I'll play around like Vile Feast and keep deny up. Now that we're on attack, This is a turn that I did want the ability to kill him, and keep in mind his Undyings can't block, which does make him really hugely vulnerable. I could do a burst pass as well. I don't want to burst pass in this spot. It's a little too vulnerable. We do have deny, so we're completely safe against the avalanche. Let's go ahead and take a Key Guardian on the Shadow Assassin. Man, that's that's so awkward. We probably can't win the game this turn anymore. It's probably impossible. We're gonna have to play this one turn later. I'm gonna have to slow down my clock by committing for the slower line with Shen. That's fine. So if he's got Avalanche here, of course we have a fantastic answer. The best answer. So I don't think there's too much he can do here. There's Ledros, just gonna cut me up a bit. I don't think it's really that important to deny that. I think that's fine. Ledros isn't really that spooky, I think. So Fiora is obviously just gonna kill this for free, because there's pretty much no downside to that. The one thing about this Ledros though is, which is pretty obnoxious, is that he just has like a free block, right? Which is definitely awkward. I mean, the pressure's on us to close this game out, but he can just block our Shen without caring about it. And that is unfortunate. Usually this deck wants to be able to attack with everything, so it really wants to be able to kind of get all the barriers it can. Not really enough I can do about that. I think we have no choice but to take a big swing, reasonably speaking. Would be really, really amazing to have my Judgment here or something. I feel pretty vulnerable. Wow, he's blocking my barrier unit? Is that... Why would he block my barrier one? That seems kind of strange. Probably supposed to kill the Shen here or something. So Fiora will take the level up on her 2 kills, which is pretty nice. Ledros back in hands. Not a major threat. At this point, of course, I guess I should be worried about the Atrocity win condition. Atrocity Ledros is, I think, a fairly weak combo. I really have no problem with it. Like, I don't think that's bothering me that he's threatening that. Multiple Ledroses can be a little spooky. But I think we've got a good card in the spot, which is the double deny hands. I think we should be able to pretty easily stall out this one last turn we want. And there's the Shen Stand United, which is a great tool for pushing lethal. I actually don't see how we can win at this point. Double deny hand on turn 10. We're just basically blocking everything he can do to potentially kill us. And he will die next turn. You know, he needs either an avalanche or to kill us this turn. And double deny means there's pretty much no way he can do either. I mean, Ledros will do 4 damage here, putting me at 3. I think we would probably let that through, though. At 13 mana, Ledros costs, what, 8? So 13... he can't even Atrocity. Dude, Atrocity Ledros costs 14 mana. That's pretty funny. That's such a meme combo. I have no idea why people think that combo is good. Okay, he's got Thresh here. He'll drag maybe my Green Glade Caretaker, possibly. What's going on here, buddy? Withering Whale. Deal 1 to all enemy units. Heal your Nexus 3. I mean, that's basically all his mana. At 5 mana, honestly, I'm just gonna deny that. I don't think I'm getting better value out of this second deny. This isn't even, like, really a threat. I don't even really mind that whale. But the important thing I'm looking at is his 2-card hand. This is super, 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 super valuable habit to get into for any card game, which is just, like, the instinct of, like, how much resources the opponent and you have left each. Like, he's got Ledros and 1 face down card in his hand, right? I've got 2 deny. What am I saving that second deny for if he only has 1 face down card in his hand, you know? And it's because of that. If he had even 2, then maybe I can, because that whale wasn't really powerful, right? But neither was the deny, because he just doesn't have a lot of hidden resources. So there's not really anything going on there. We can go ahead and kill the Thresh with Shen's Stand United. I think that's fine.
Kinku go where they are needed.
Stand United is an adorable ability. I don't know how strong it is. It's probably not super great, but I can say it's a lot of fun. This is one of the most fun ways of like finishing games and kind of smacking people down you can reasonably have. Like there's just a lot that card can do. It just feels great. We do need to kind of like threaten lethal on next turn, and I think we've got that down pat. I mean, he's got one face down card, we've got deny for pretty much whatever he's going to do. Most importantly, we have first attack next round. I think he's tapped out. I don't think his face down card can even be played here. Check that out. His Ledros won't get a chance to come down. He only has non-blocking units, and we're swinging for face. So we can go ahead and have the Shen on the right side. Literally doesn't matter. There's nothing he could have that could win us the game. Or, sorry, lose us the game. This is a one spot. And we're going to go ahead and take this. So that's pretty good. Alright, so yeah, it's a more fun deck. It's not super crazy powerful, but I think this is a pretty optimized version of this deck. Like I was saying, I do like the one mentor. Great addition to this deck, absolutely. And it's really fun. It's a fun way to kill people. Reasonably speaking, I would be pretty surprised if it ended higher than like a tier 3 deck. I could maybe possibly imagine it being tier 2 in the right meta for sure, but it's just kind of like a more fun gimmicky deck. It honestly, I'm not gonna lie. This is probably the most fun deck in the game. Like, if I just wanted to go to ladder and have fun and also get some wins at the same time, I would run this. Because the combos that, especially the finishers with, like, Stand United and, like, the cool gimmicky stuff you can do with, like, pushing lethal with a barrier or Stand United with Fiora or Judgment with Fiora, there's just a lot of, like, crazy ways to, like, close out the game and make your opponent mad. And, you know, having 3 deny, hey, that helps too. Okay, so this is going to be a starter deck here. Garen, Lux, Braum, Tryndamere. These are all the 4 champions in the Demacia Freljord starter deck. Who runs one of on all of those. So I'm not tryharding to the point where I actually have memorized these starter decks to like put them on specific hands. So I don't actually remember exactly what's in those decks. But safe to say, I think the starter deck does start with 1 Avalanche as a 1-of. I do remember that. Keeping Fiora and Avalanche is a pretty sweet start, I think. Let's go ahead and bump these other 2 and see what we get. I think those are effectively, I would say, non-essentials. Having a turn 2 play is pretty sweet as well. We're really looking for standalone would be the nuts here. The Dream, a Chain Vest would be nice.
New recruit reporting in.
I wouldn't mind that at all. So it's our turn 1 attack, his turn 2 attack. If he open attacks, that will block our Everos and Sentry. Otherwise, I might take the Sentry here. There's the open attack, as expected. So yeah, it's just gonna have to be Sentry here. We're really just looking for something to enable our Fiora, because it's a little bit hard to play her when we're not protecting her very well. And of course, I don't really mind sacrificing Avarice and Sentry up to the Avalanche gods. I think that ends up usually being totally fine. I think this is a totally fair attack. If he wants to take the block, that's a good trade for me. Otherwise, it's just straight up 2 free damage. I'm not really playing much else. Deal 1 to a unit. This could draw me the Chain Vest of my dreams.
Gotcha.
An awkward hand. I mean, these 2 units aren't threatening enough. If it was 3, I'd think about avalanching the spot. As it stands, we will have to sit. If he doesn't open attack, if he plays a 3rd unit, I'll take a pretty happy avalanche. And if he takes an open attack, it's just 2 units, so I'm fine with eating this 5 damage. I have no problem with this amount of damage. It's pretty small at the end of the day. You can't pass back here. The avalanche is, I think, fine in the spot. It's a little unfortunate. I got painted into a corner here. Like, I definitely am not super happy with how that played out, but I think it's okay. Like, I did want him to play a unit that was vulnerable to avalanche. I mean, setting the Poro to 1 health does fairly little, but on the other hand, usually people don't play around avalanche number 2, so I can usually get like good value out of that. I'm in too vulnerable of a position to try to pass. Like, taking that pass instead of avalanching there, if he passes back, he doesn't burn mana, and I burn 4 mana permanently. That mana is just lost forever, and that's too vulnerable of a spot. If he's a smart person, and he has Omen Hawk in hand in that spot, he wouldn't even play it if I passed there, I think. So, I don't want to leave myself open to that. I'm mostly just trying to, like, allow myself to draw into better tools here while I wait. I mean, Elixir of Iron makes the situation a little better. I think I basically have to start getting my Fiora out for value here. Not a strong spot. Not a strong spot.
Warm hearts and hot soup.
Man, a Chain Vest would go so far here, guys. A Chain Vest would be like an auto win in this spot. We've got like 2 single combats in hand. We've got like 2 blocks. If we just had like 1 Chain Vest, we'd just win the game here so easily. Oh, but our Fiora health is really limited. We're definitely gonna have to use like Elixir of Iron for some value pokes. No choice but to spend my mana here. This has to be the succession spot. I just can't afford to burn 2 mana. We're kind of getting a 1 mana 3/3 by doing this, which is fine. Not great. Not amazing. Not ideal, for sure. And of course, we've bricked our second Avalanche by playing for the Fiora line, but I don't think I could have waited on that, so... Fiora is in a pretty amazing spot for the barrier. So, I think this play is just too good.
Strike without worry.
So, we'll resolve the barrier. You know, it's possible Brittle Steel was a better play there, but I'm trying to get the mana out so that I don't burn it. I'd rather have cheap cards in hand, because I can only reserve 3 mana per turn. It could have been close, though. It could have been Brittle Steel. So, the most important thing is we're just thinking about leveling up our Fiora. If he takes some kind of ping. So, oh, I can't Brittle Steel the Tavern Keeper. He has too much health. Whoa, 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 whoa. If I single combat the Tavern Keeper, he'll die afterwards. If I Brittle Steel... So, oh god, that's so weird. So, my Fiora's health is a really valuable metric. Okay, this is bizarre. So, I have to Brittle Steel the Mighty Poro, because I can't Brittle Steel the Cavern Keeper. And then I have to let this exchange go through. I guess I could use an elixir. I can use 1 elixir. No, I need to commit for the Fiora. So, this is so bizarre. So, I let this exchange happen now. And my Fiora takes the level up. And because I used Brittle Steel there, I still retain my barrier. And now that my unit has resolved its combat, now my Fiora can get the single combat that she needs to get the 3rd kill on her end by using the barrier we pre-committed.
This will be quick.
So now we've got the 3 kills, we just need 1 more. Now you'll note we still have 1 more single combat in hand. So if he plays into us, I will smack him down. Okay, that's big. That's a little too big. I needed something a little bit smaller than that. Anything. Give me something. Something to smash. I need food. I mean, Braum can be somewhat threatening. I can just go ahead and play Braum out here. If he doesn't actually play anything small enough, my Fiora actually won't be able to win me the game. That's so sad. Does he know? Will he just not play something small? Am I actually gonna lose to this? This is actually like a super spooky board, dude. What the hell? My hand is actually worthless too. Oh my god. Wait a sec. Oh. Oh, what just happened? Okay, I think I have to sit. I don't see any cheeky lines. I can like level up Braum in a really weird way if I like double Elixir of Iron. Oh, food. Yum. Hmm. Oh, thanks. Cool. Oh, he doesn't even have a trick. Oh, that was nice of him. Oh, we're good. Looks like we're good. Wow. Sweet. Okay, sure. That actually, it actually could have been a loss there. I think we were probably fine, but it did definitely, like, we had a decent chance to lose.